I had a white partner for 10 years, and there's not a lot of representation in the LGBT community of couples that are of the same race. And for a long time, when I was, 23, I was on MTV's Real World. It was my mission to make sure that I'm putting out a certain image. And then I hit 30.
What's up, y'all? It's your boy Brose here, and I'm back with a new video. I want to talk about, I kind of spoke on these people several times, but, you know, I feel like it's just so much content you just can make out of them because there's just so many things that you have to talk about. But I want to talk about when your preference doesn't prefer you, specifically highlighting Don Lemon, Tyler the Creator, and Karamo Brown. But first, let's talk about what that means. It means is you value something or someone, but they don't value you or choose you back. So it can apply in relationship, friendships, opportunities, or just even life paths. In these situations, opportunities, things like that, but also how it can apply in the real world. So let's talk about preference. Preference sounds neutral, but race has a social history. In everyday language, preferences usually means a mild personal taste, or like preferring coffee or over tea, peanut butter over jelly. But race is just not another aesthetic trait. It's tied to a long history of discrimination and stereotypes and unequal power. Because of that history, calling racial attraction to preference can downplay and really hide deeper biases, conditionings, and socialization. To be fair, a lot of it's going to be shaped by media, social conditioning, like I said, and culture. But whether it's colorism, fetishism, or in case anti-black desirability, which can be considered racial-based bias, racialized attraction, and dating slash friendship exclusion, it can happen in all of these ways. So in this example, I want to speak on Karamo Brown, who has a history of dating white men and choosing to be in predominantly white spaces. Now, when Karamo first kind of got on the scene, he always criticizes one girl for dating a white man back in the real world, but
What up, y'all? Come get live. Put your hands up and get live. Get live. You're all the hotties in the place. Get live. Put your hands up and get live. What's up?
what kind of contradicted his point in himself is he dated a white Latino. People might always say, "Oh, there's a difference. One's Latino, one is white," but Latino is not a race, which a lot of people do not realize. And I really didn't know. A lot of people don't understand the difference between race, ethnicity, and nationality until I got older. And it's really kind of surprising how many adults really don't know the difference. But his whole personal choices can reflect a broader racial hierarchy. So what came to mind was a situation that happened recently this past year. Karamo Brown significantly distanced himself from the queer eye, and his castmates during the press tours first. I think season 10, one of those season 9 or 10, citing mental health concerns, alleged emotional abuse, and fear of bullying, which followed a hot mic where his cast members were, reportedly talking about him and disparaging him. Ramo skipped multiple appearances like CBS and other things like that. His mother allegedly heard, some of the negative comments, and he released a statement, it's basically saying, why was his absence, and he needs to choose his peace, and kind of unfollowing the cast. His cast members had the reaction of saying this and just meeting people where there are. But along with that, his relationships didn't really work out with his marriage, his first marriage, and then his another high profile marriage, and with both white men, and the cast being predominantly white. Now Karamo has been someone who spoke on racism, but also has been someone who has aligned himself with whiteness, has been considered a token, and made disparaging comments about other black women.
Children. I think about her children.
Karamo, what was your reaction?
I'm just used to stunt queens in the gay community, so I was like, oh, this is a stunt, okay? She pulled a stunt, girl. She was trying to do some insurance fraud, girl. Okay, girl, you got caught, girl. Not gonna do the time.
To appease, a white crowd. And I feel like in his show kind of, I mean, it's similar to like the Mars and Jory Springers, but just, use that to exploit black trauma, and he says it to fight for black people, but he's rarely in these black spaces. Now that could be due to his sexuality, he doesn't get invited, but I had never seen him at really any like black predominant spaces where he's really posted up and really giving back. I just have not seen it. I can be still corrected, but I have not seen it. So you see him choosing that being his preference, but them not choosing him back. And unfortunately, his show just got canceled. So I feel now that's kind of terrible. But you see him choosing that and aligning himself with that audience, but them not. You see them not talking behind his back. His relationship's not working. Him not being taken serious in certain settings, but wanting to have that preference so bad and wanting to be a part of that world so bad, but not understanding that they are only using you as the token and as a diversity hire, unfortunately. So I hope he understands and kind of takes a look back at how his preference is not choosing him back in more ways than another. You have Tyler Creator, who, although his sexuality is always up to discussion, he always insinuated, he has a strong preference for white men.
Yeah, they all got this look. Yeah, but I'm into dudes, so
Yeah, that's tight.
yeah, I don't even.
Black dudes only?
I don't even like black dudes at all. I'm into white guys.
Yes. Now, that's an offensive word
To some people, to many people.
And in what terms do you use it?
I don't know, man. See, like, people have to understand, I grew up in a different time, so where
Explain it
that
to
word is just a word. It has no effect, but it is a double standard because there's certain people who will get offended if someone who doesn't have the skin tone of me says it, like, which is really weird, Like, then they're keeping the original meaning of that a lot. I don't know how to explain it.
Well, if a white person says
Yeah, like if a white person says it,
isn't it derogatory?
like it's derogatory because your skin isn't the same color as mine. But why when it's just weird that a lot of people still get, upset with that. And it's like, I don't know. I think you get
And things of that nature. However, it was fun. It was interesting to see how his fans started to turn on him, and I kind of spoke about this in another video and criticize him or being very racist towards him when he posted about D'Angelo and very confused on, hey, we thought you were this when he actually, he does have a really good taste for black music and understand black art in that sense, but his preference and what he likes to align himself with in white spaces as well were kind of like took a turn or took a side eye when they found out the type of music that he listens to and likes. And that kind of happens with a lot of those people who preferences don't prefer them. Like they do have like interest in taste and they do understand black history or black art, and it's up to a certain point. And when they're the people that they majority choose in their personal friendships or social life are shocked when they have this other side to them. But this also ultimately shows that although this is your preference, they really don't have the best interest for you. Other main people who have been a part of it where, when your preference doesn't really choose you or have your best interests is with the whole, Andrew Gilliam situation and how where he was found police in a hotel in Miami with a male sex workers, white sex workers with a baggie of cops suspected containing crystal meth and other narcotics, and how a lot of his sex workers kind of came out and kind of exploited him for doing that. Now, I will say Andrew Gilliam was not in the right. He was totally in the wrong, and what he did was really disgusting, especially having a wife and kids. But it really shows that those people are out to get you and make you a mockery and exploit you. Same with the whole Isaiah Rashad situation. A lot of people forget that and how allegedly those white guys he was sleeping with and that exposed his video, they were the ones who exposed his videos and outed him. And those were his preferences. It was very telling how a lot of these black men move. Then you have Chef D, who made really colorist accusations.
You have bumps between your legs. It smells. I don't like that. You're not my type. I like light-skinned Spanish pretty boys. You're not my type. First of all, at all. I rock with you because I felt bad, one, and two, we built so much of a bond. I'm like, whatever, I'm gonna rock out. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? You called me on the phone crying, oh my God, I don't know how I'm gonna do this, I don't know how I'm gonna.
But a lot of his preferences did not like him. Tyler Perry, now I'm going to talk about that and what he has done, but I think there's some type of situations going on with him where his preferences don't prefer him. But he's a alleged abuser, so we're not even going to get into that, but we're going to get into that in another video. But this doesn't stop at whiteness. This also goes into colorism and how many individuals like Chef D are colorists, and they believe lightness is what they want, but those who they pedestalize do not prefer him. Many individuals spoke about being victims of colorism, but has been vocal about having a colorist type and preference, right? Yeah, on the flip side of Chef D being a colorist, many individuals who are black spoke about being victims of colorism, but also been vocal about having a colorist type and a preference when it comes to dating. Now, you really can't pinpoint it 100% in the media because most gay black men are white only. However, you can see it on social media daily and the different trends that are go around and the different things that are happening. You would see in shows, you either see a white gay man or a very slim, light skinned gay couple, or one of the partners is white or light skinned and the other partner is black, dark skin. Or you'll see a light skinned gay couple. You will rarely see a dark skinned gay couple where two of the people are both brown or dark skinned. You've seen it. I've seen it once in a movie, but most times it's not that often. Well, you see it like I guess you'll see it twice, but you see it most like in Noah's Ark. It is not to shame them or anything, but most of the color couples were one or the other. I mean, Wade and Noah were like the same complexion, but a lot of people characterize them as dark skinned. Ricky, the other one, the lighter skin, I think he was Hispanic or Afro Latino. I don't know. He was Afro Latino or he was just indigenous or mestizo. He had his partner was like, I think he ended up with somebody like, oh, that's what I mean. Also, here's a breakdown. Colorism in intimate partnership refers to skin tone, usually within the same racial or ethnic group, affecting dating preferences, relationship dynamics, and partner selection. It's a form of discrimination based on shade rather than race. It's rooted historically in colonialism, slavery, the caste system, and global beauty hierarchies, right? So, what colorism looks like in dating, colorism often shows up through preferences, people's preferences, quote unquote, stereotypes, and power dynamics. Common patterns are preference for light skin. In many cultures, assumption that lighter is more attractive, feminine, or socially valuable. Darker partners are usually sexually stigmatized and considered less desirable or more masculine. In many communities, such as the African diaspora, South Asia, East Asia, Latin America, Middle Eastern societies, North and South America, and then you have
Like
internalized
Democrats have a registration
colorism.
advantage
Colorism can
of
affect
nearly
how people see
100,000
themselves
more
and what they believe in
registered
and what
voters
they
than
deserve in a
Republicans. When I
relationship.
was on the ballot
Like I stated
this
earlier,
November,
certain people that
that
are
advantage has shrunk
of
to
a
around
darker hue
250,000,
may
and it continues to
employ
tighten.
the same
And the
colorist
truth
rhetoric
is I
as
recognize that
their
everybody
lighter
who's
skin and
registered to
light
vote doesn't necessarily vote, but it certainly
counterpart.
helps to have more marbles.
And even family and cultural pressures. Many families reinforce colorism, comments about being too dark, fair skin, wanting their kids to look a certain way. Even the adoption process, where I've seen a lot of queer couples may adopt or have kids, or when either surrogacy or adoption, they will choose kids of a certain skin color or hue. That's a whole nother situation I don't think people are ready to talk about. And just psychological effect on relationships. Colorism can leave in power imbalances and one being more value seen as more valued than the other. And just microaggressions, jokes, comments, comparisons about skin tone, especially if you're like a popular couple, they always might say which one and things of that nature. So healthy things really require you unlearning situations and unlearning these biases. Overall, although these are their so-called preferences, most times they're not preferring you back. And just to go on the Lemon situation, again, he's kind of similar to Karamo Brown, being in these white spaces and, making certain comments and, COONING for CNN and
Start small by not dropping trash, littering in your own communities. I've lived in several predominantly white neighborhoods in my life. I rarely, if ever, witness people littering. I live in Harlem now. It's an historically black neighborhood. Every single day I see adults and children dropping their trash on the ground when a garbage can is just feet away. Just being honest here. Number 2, finish school. You want to break the cycle of poverty? Stop telling kids are acting white because they go to school or they speak proper English. A high school dropout makes on average $19,000 a year. A high school graduate makes $28,000 a year. A college graduate makes $51,000 a year. Over the course of a career, a college grad will make nearly $1 million more than a high school graduate. That's a lot of money. And number 1, and probably the most important, just because you can have a baby, it doesn't mean you should, especially without planning for one or getting married first. More than 72% of children in the African American community are born out of wedlock. That means absent fathers.
but also getting arrested by the group of people that he want to be a part of and things of that nature. So the same people that they live for and they want to be a part of and things of that nature are the same people that are going to chastise you and turn their backs on you and not have the best interest for you. So that's it. That's all. Let me know what you think about this in the comments. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, and share. And I'll see you on my next video. Peace.